Sure. And you all can hear me okay. You can hear me fine? Okay, because you all are a little soft and I don't know why. So, but as long as you can hear me, that's fine. Yeah, I am an art therapist and a counselor, and I usually work with mommies who are new, and but now I'm working with the full lifespan people. And today, Rebecca and Jen asked me to share a few things about, like what Rebecca was saying, how to enhance your sense of safety. And for art therapy, if you haven't heard this before, art therapy is just a method of self-expression. It has nothing to do with like making a beautiful masterpiece of artwork that you hang on the wall. So whatever marks you put on the paper, they're good. They're there is no good or bad. It's just self-expression. Stick figures are welcome. And art therapy is a way of kind of reaching a deeper level below the level of thought. You know, you have your feelings and your intuition, all those things that you're not able to put into words. Um, Sometimes expressing yourself in artwork can help with that. And I will lead you or suggest things to you, but if you find yourself being called to make or do something else, I would encourage you to go with that because it's really all about what's meaningful for you. So, and what is art therapy? Um, does everybody have paper and something to draw with? Hello, welcome. If you don't, I'll give you a minute if you need to go grab something. But maybe not. You don't need anything special. At one time, art therapists were taught to interpret like every choice as this or that, but it's really about what works for you. If you just have a pen and a piece of paper, that is good enough. And I guess we'll just move on. And we're gonna do two things. I think we'll have enough time. Two things today. Hello, we're getting new people. Hi, I'm Susan, and we're gonna do first just a type of a check-in with yourself. Um, and if we're gonna take a moment, take a pause, you can take a breath, you know, in through your mouth, out through your, in through your nose, out through your mouth. Taking a moment just to see what am I bringing with me here today? What's on my mind? What's on my heart? What am I feeling? And then after you have your pause, you can draw like a 4 or 5 inch circle. And inside that circle, you draw how am I feeling in this moment? So it might have been different 5 minutes ago. It might be different 5 minutes from now. And, you know, any colors or shapes or any line that you feel expresses what you're feeling at the moment um, is all good. Here I have an old check-in. This is when I wasn't feeling all that great. That's an old check-in. I was feeling very squeezed out, like I didn't have space for myself. But that's just an example, and everyone's is going to look totally different. Um, and I think I'll give you a few minutes just to see what comes up for you, put it down on the paper, and then we'll move on to the second exercise we had in mind. And after we do the second exercise, we'll have time at the end to share if you would like for the check-in or the next thing that we're going to do. Did anyone have any questions? No. Okay, good. And sometimes people don't, it's kind of you draw it, then you name it. And I have like little, like I have a feelings wheel that I show to people. And I didn't know if there were going to be any kids on the call, but I have some of my favorite books, just those basic books of where you teach, we could say either you or your inner child, the words for all of your feelings. This is a good book. My body sends a signal, how to be a feelings detective, that you can read. And I even have like the little feelings. This is love. And like sometimes it's fun just to touch something and to pick out something with your hands. I have a whole collection. Sadness, little manipulatives that you can play with your child and have discussions about feelings as you do your drawings or after or before. I think that's been a few minutes. Um, I don't want to rush through though. So if you another practice the our idea is if you check in with yourself and you put it down on the like in a, either in a journal or on paper and you collect them together, sometimes you can look through your days and kind of see patterns or similarities or common themes that maybe you wouldn't have noticed had you not put them together, and taking that time. But anyway, it's a practice that might appeal to people who aren't writers or who want to mix it up and do a little bit of both, like a drawing, writing, any kind of journaling. So we're gonna, are you done, Kathy? Are you still working? You are. Okay. Okay. And so the next thing is kind of a meditative kind of an exercise on all the things that feed us, like that feed our soul, that provide rejuvenation and refreshment and comfort to us. And I kind of, a little cheeky, but I call it your heart hospital. What's in your heart hospital? When your body's broken, you go, well, acutely, you go to a hospital. If you're wanting a renewal for, I don't know, some people call it a soul injury or any type of, like if there's a break in your comfort level or you feel unsafe, what do you do that brings you safety? Or what do you see? What do you have around you? Um, a hospital for the heart. Is it outside? Is it inside? Is it one place? Is it a whole campus of places? Does it have comfy pillows and music and books and pets? Does it, who's there? Who's in your heart hospital? And you probably guessed by now that we're going to draw it. We're going to draw all those things that come to mind, um, that are a comfort to you. Um, And the more things you can think of, the better. This is also something that you can return to. You know, it evolves kind of what resonates with you, and you can add to it. You can create a new heart hospital, and you can do it. You don't have to put it in a circle. You can do it as big as you would like with whatever materials you have on hand. And it doesn't, it doesn't have to be realistic. You don't have to make the apple look like the apple. It can be, you know, this circle represents my partner, or anything that comes to mind, any way you want to express it. Mm. And let's see, we'll give it about a good solid 5 minutes. So if you don't finish, at least it'll be a good start. And we'll check back in and have some time to share at the end. I think that was about 5-ish minutes. And again, this can be kind of an ongoing meditation. This is something, when you're feeling scattered or um, just in need of some centering, this is also something that you can come back to at any time. I've got to start, but I know I'm not finished. Yeah, even if you don't share about it or talk about it, there's therapeutic value just in the meditating about it and drawing it. But then if you are so willing, um, you can share about it too. So if you want, uh, you can unmute yourself and show us your picture or talk about your picture or both or one or the other. It's up to you.
Hi.
Hello. Hi, Natalie.
I will go because I have time right now. um, so I just wanted to notice that I have been keeping myself busy, and when you, I fortunately I saw the mail and remembered, and I came, but I had to do some. I was doing some stuff, so I'm in the car and I didn't have access to pen and paper, but I had my hand and I had a pen. Um, so yeah, when it was about breathing and checking in and being, what are you feeling? And I was like, it took me a while to be like, wow, I'm really sad. Yeah. um, but then when I started to think about my heart hospital, and so I put in my dog, um, and babies, because I love babies. I really do. And all the love and art and music and just lines and circles, which I think is kind of like the human soul, the human spirit, and all the love that comes with it and connection. Because I think that a lot of times, like in conflict, I see like we tend to think black and white, and I'm right and somebody else is wrong. But I think if maybe what feels good, what feels healing for me is to think about connection. How can we think beyond black and white and see just much we have in common, and yeah, that's what I
Can
just
you hold that? Can you hold that closer to the camera so we can get it if you don't mind?
do.
Oh, a mandala and very
Yeah. Well,
like
it did turn out like
centered.
a mandala, kind of.
It
It was.
did. It did. And probably one thing I forgot to say about the check-in is, all feelings are welcome. And there's the saying of name it to tame it. And if you're sad, this is a good opportunity. Or you identify it and then you could just sit with it, befriend it.
Yeah.
So yeah, wow. And there's probably something therapeutic to feeling that on your on your hand. Maybe I'll add that in. That's, that's
Yeah.
super resourceful in the car. Thank you.
I kind of want to draw one on
Thank
my
you.
hand.
You did, or you were gonna?
I want to.
Now I want to too. Yeah. Yeah. You're gonna have that with you all day. Anybody else would like to share either their check-in or their heart hospital?
For hi, for the check-in, I have my curiosity.
Oh.
That's how I was feeling, because I never really like art art classes and I'm really not good at it, so I never look
Oh.
forward to it. And so today I was wondering, what's she gonna make us do in half an hour? So I was really curious.
Oh, well, thank you for being open enough to come, even though you don't like it. There's no grades, no instruction. If there's a rule, it would be you can't say that you can't draw because we're all artists. Did you draw Curiosity?
No,
Okay. But
no,
you worked it out. You came up
but
with some.
I put a nice color to it.
Oh, okay. There you go. All right. We did it. Um, Anybody else like to share?
I can share.
Okay.
Well, I can show my picture, but mostly what I want to share is something I noticed. So I made this little paintbrush to represent not necessarily just painting, but any kind of artistic expression. Because I know that that is really deeply regulating for me when I do any kind of artistic expression. But I also that sent me down a rabbit hole thinking about that. One of the things I've noticed is when I'm really having a hard time, it's hard for me to do that. Like it's hard for me to access the part of my brain that can be creative or even like freely do something without trying to be creative. Like it's hard to even like go there. And so something that I have noticed in the past and I had forgotten about, and so I'm glad that this came back up because it's helpful for me, is when I can't be creative, it can be really helpful for me to do something like a kit where something tells me what to do. So I'm like, painting by number or something like that, where I don't have to think about what to do, but the like motion helps me get there when I
Mm-hmm.
otherwise would have a really hard time getting into that headspace. And I had kind of forgotten that that's true. And now I'm like, oh yeah, that's probably what I need right now is to like do a little bit of like mindless art.
Yeah, absolutely. There's a huge amount of power in that. It's called regulating from the bottom up. You're not going from your cerebral cortex into regulation. You're going any kind of rhythmic knitting, crocheting, even if it's running, even, stirring, kneading dough. Yeah, no, that's a really good point. I'm glad you brought that out. I've been with all the chaos and disharmony around me. I have been just setting aside time just to sort beads or untangle knots in yarn. Like I don't need to make anything. It's just very soothing to me to put order into something that I can. But I want to respect your time. Oh, we're almost to 30 minutes. Anybody else want to share? Kathy?
I'll share, even though I'm terribly embarrassed because I'm not an artist. But I was thinking about what would be in my heart hospital, and it seems that nature comes up a lot. So my picture is of a friend and I walking our dogs in the park. And then at the bottom, my brother is actively dying in hospice, so there's going to be his gravesite. So I don't know what it means, but it did get me out of my head, and it did feel good to do, even though it's silly looking.
It's not silly at all. Does that bring you a sense of peace, like a closure or ending to your brother is currently dying?
Yeah, not yet. Yeah,
I'm
hopefully
sorry.
it'll happen soon and like it'll be done.
Yeah.
He's in hospice, but
Okay.
yeah, so I feel like I need to be outside in nature with the sun and my friend, and it's cold here, like 13 degrees, and that's what I
Oh,
need. I'll have to find an alternative, I guess.
that's cold, 13 degrees. Well, and there's just benefit to just meditating and looking at your heart hospital, like you put it on the fridge and
Thank you.
somehow, yeah, go there. without going there. Thank you for sharing. So that's all I had. Thank you all for coming and sharing and being open, and you're all artists. um, are there closing things? No.
Yeah, I just want to say thank you, Susan. Thank you, thank you.
You're
And
welcome.
yeah, just so appreciate you. And yeah, I'm at the airport. Jen, could you take a minute before we sign off and talk about next week?
Yeah, so we're gonna keep doing this same time every Tuesday. The next 2 weeks, I'll be the one presenting, and I'm presenting an hour-long workshop split over 2 weeks. So the whole workshop is called Helpless to Hopeful: Tools for Emotional Health in Trying Times. And if you're not experiencing trying times right now, then tell me how to be experiencing what you're experiencing. For the rest of us, the first half of it, so what we do next week, will be about connecting with what we're experiencing, acknowledging it, connecting with our bodies, and doing some somatic exercises to help us orient to where we have agency and choice and control in our lives, and if there's safety in our bodies and our immediate surroundings, not the larger world, but in our immediate surroundings. And so we'll be doing that body and heart centered part next week. And then the second half is a little bit more cognitive, but it's really important that you do the first half first, or you won't be able to access the cognitive parts of your brain. But then in the second half, so the week after next, we'll be doing some exercises to help you get really clear about like, what are the things that are most important to you that you want to have drive all of your decisions and how you show up in the world, for yourself, for your relationships, and for the wider world. So that's what we're going to do for the next 2 weeks.
Sounds good.
And
Thank
these
you all
calls are
so much.
open to anyone. So you're welcome to share this and invite others to come and join us.
Awesome.
All right. Thanks, everyone.
Thank you. Bye.
These members at 12. Thanks.